know if you can hear me. If you can, let me know in the chat. Yeah, let me know in the chat if you can hear me. Okay. Well, apparently I'm back, but I don't, crazy. I don't know. Hello again. Sorry, I'm in the process of just recovering from a stream crash, so I don't know what's going on, where everything is at the moment. So I'm just waiting for people to come back. So, the wind is pretty fierce out there, Donald, you're right. And I'm sorry for the crash. I can't explain how it happened, don't know why it happened, but it did happen. But can you all see the screen right now? You can see Hubble's Variable Nebula here. Let me know on that. Looks good. Let me yeah, no, Michael, I wasn't taken, but I restarted the stream quick enough. But I'm not sure if I lost the other stuff. You know, that's the thing. I gotta go check. So I'm going to go look at my channel and see what we got. Yeah, it looks like we got looks like we got something going on here. I can't tell. Let me go in and edit the video just for a second. Yeah, okay. They're new streams. Okay. I'm not sure what happened to the Rumble stream. I'm actually a little low volume here. Now I'm higher. Here I am. This is better, I think. Okay. So Hubble's Variable Nebula here is looking quite good. And the part about the nebula, which is very interesting, is, in fact, this area right here, okay, that's pretty cool, all right, because you can see the subtle detail in there. The brightest part, all right, is this area right here, and that's probably where the starlight is peeking through and then shooting upwards to get to the rest of this nebula. I don't know for sure, but that's what I suspect. Yeah, Tim F. Smash the like. We should smash the like. You know? I just restarted the stream immediately, and I might be a little bit better now with terms of this. So I got 22 captured, 28 rejected. So I'm gonna save Hubble's Variable Nebula here. I mean, I lost the stream, and this computer had to be shut down and restarted, but the telescope system out there and its computer kept right chugging along. So all I had to do was reconnect, and here I am, and I'm back like I never left. The only thing is that the stream is now being split. I wish I could merge two streams together. I wish that was a possibility. Okay. So that's pretty good. So we got that file saved. Now I'm going to save it exactly as seen. I don't know if Rumble's stream is running right now. I don't know if anyone can go check that. On this particular stream. Right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come out of here. We've already saved 25 of these. That's actually quite a lot. That's good. And then I'm going to come back in and do our low light view. And now what we're going to do is something else that's interesting. We're going to move upwards. And first things first, we're gonna scroll. We're gonna actually move our zoom out. Look at that. Look at that wind is doing. Holy cow. That wind is having such a bad effect on this. Sound check good. Connection clear, says Jessica. Thank you, Jessica. Okay, and now we're going to move upward. There we go. This is the Christmas tree cluster here. And so we got to move upward. We're going to move to the east a little bit. Center it up. Okay. Okay, now let's scroll back up a little bit. You can see the Christmas tree right here. It's inverted. That's its namesake, how it got its name. Looks like a Christmas tree. We're going to go to here. Actually, got to go down a little more, sorry. Hey, Kevin Williams, how are you? Alright. This should be good. Now, I'll zoom in a little bit. We got lots of wind, but we're going to still try. Yeah, look at that. Windy, windy. Look at that. I'm not even moving it. That's the wind. Yeah, this is probably not going to work. Well, let's see if there's something else that might be better for us. Come down here to Canis Major. Let's try. Let's go here. Alright, we'll try Thor's helmet. It's a little lower out of the wind. We may have some interruption with the dome, the building. But we could get lucky. It looks like we might get lucky. Yeah, we're lucky. There it is. Okay. Now let's see if we have the same problem here. I'll do a 25-second shot. Have a satellite moving through the field right there. See it? Interesting. I noticed that we do have some clouds. We have some wind affecting us still. And we'll probably have that for the remainder of this shot. Okay, well that's no problem. So let's figure out what we're going to do here. That's Hubble's Variable Nebula. That's beautiful. That's up on the website now. At least we got that. You see the red nebula surrounding it. Alright. I turned the music down again. I know that there was an issue there. So, that said, let's go see what our full width half maximum filter looks like. 9.32. That would deliver a oblong star result, so we have to wait it out. See if we can get one that's not. So almost. That was almost close enough right there. Yeah. Okay, well. Try that. Sound okay? Sound check, 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 check. I think I should be good now. There's Thor's helmet. Look at that. We got one good one. 2 rejects, 1 good one. Thank you guys for your indulgence. And now let's color correct this. There we go. And then let's bring our dark curve up to the near the peak, where it'll get us to have just enough data where we won't lose it. This is an interesting location. This thing right here is a bubble blown in space. A bubble blown in space by an extremely hot star whose destiny is a supernova. Okay. Calabos, thank you, man, for sending out that note. But as you can see, I just restarted the stream and hope for the best. And I think it started a whole new stream, but whatever. You know, it is what it is. I don't know. I was showing you I was showing everybody the all sky cam, and the fact that it shows us some really cool constellation stuff and so forth. And then you could click and go to a website. Apparently, there was something that was too much for the system, which I don't understand. But it's all right. So this region of space then is full of this green gas. What is this green gas? Well, this is doubly ionized oxygen. Oxygen is the 3rd most abundant element in the universe, so it stands to reason that we might see it in a variety of nebulae, in a variety of situations, and we do. We see it in supernovae. Witness the Veil Nebula, which has this green oxygen clouds in it like this, these filaments of ionized, doubly ionized oxygen. Thor's helmet is an area where the star has been shedding its outer layers sort of explosively, but not in a supernova situation, but in a powerful stellar wind type situation, blowing out its outer layers. It's not understood very well why it's pushing off its outer layers. That's not understood well. But we do know that the star, which I think is this one right here, okay, and I'm going to outline it, and someone can correct me if I'm wrong, but I do believe that this star right inside that box, I think that is actually the star that did the bubble blowing here. But that said, we'll zoom in a little bit. See, our stars are just a little bit elongated because my full width half maximum value is a little too high. I have it at 8.53. Technically, it should be down to like 7. But as you can see with the wind, we're not getting very many 7s. We only got 1. And this one's almost 8, relatively. So good night, Michael Tar, Calabos. Izabela says there's so many stars in this, it's just unreal almost. Yeah, it's true. And they're a little elongated, like I said, because of the wind. But we have this number up high enough so that if they fall within the limit, they are still slightly elongated. But we don't have a whole lot of choice. You'll see red in here as well. Here, down here, out here. This is, again, a star that is expelling its guts for whatever reason. There's a name for these stars. They're called WR stars, or Wolf-Rayet stars. And there is a way that we think these stars do this. They are very, very powerful stellar winds, and they end up pushing off the layers, the outer layers, and causing them to like blow bubbles in space, basically. Mr. Django says, Mark, are there plans for how to build the all-sky cam? Absolutely. Let me see if I can tell you. If you look online, you go to GitHub, GITHUB, okay, and look up Thomas Jacquin all-sky cam. Or better yet, you don't even have to worry about his name. Go GitHub all-sky cam. And the one that's run by Thomas Jacquin, Jacquin, will be the one you want. All right, you can do it right now. Look it up in Google. You'll find it. That's the camera that the camera program that I'm using, and his system is really quite nice. If you search for All Sky Cam on YouTube, that may do it, but you're also going to get everybody else's All Sky Cams. And if you want to actually see directly in the GitHub community, you can actually see it by going right to GitHub and searching for All Sky Cam. And there are two kinds of All Sky Cams out there. And one is an older project, and this one is the newer project. Thank you, DPFX. Thank you for sharing again. Yeah, we get a lot of wind out here. But as you can see, we've got 10 frames that we've managed to capture. Lost 2. But if you notice, we're starting to see just rich detail in here. And it goes on more than you think, right? See, it's all here. It's up here. This is a star blowing off its guts. And it's actually going to go supernova eventually, too. Isn't that crazy? Yeah. Yeah, Mr. Django, just so you know, you have to buy the enclosure, a Raspberry Pi 4. You're going to want power over Ethernet, so you're going to want to send power to it with one cable, not a power cable, because the power cable going to this system is USB-C, and that can't go more than like 9 feet before the Raspberry Pi will report that it's under voltage. Then you'll start missing things like the time lapses and the star trail images and things like that. So if you actually do a power over Ethernet situation to inject power into my Ethernet cable, the cost was $27 for the box, and it looks like a Ethernet switch, but you had these PoE or power over Ethernet ports on the box, and these ports inject voltage into the internet line that goes out to the box, the Ethernet cable. And then inside the Ethernet box you have a splitter which splits back off the power but then delivers back your data cable. Plug the data cable into the Pi, plug the power cable into the Raspberry Pi. Now one cable brings all the power the Pi could use up to 300 feet away, and the Raspberry Pi has a direct connection with the wire. Now you can go wireless if you want to, but wireless means you need batteries. So I don't recommend that. So, but that'll help you. And when I had all the equipment, which was the clear dome, the camera itself, the box, the internet cable, the Cat 5 cable. I built the cable because I can make my own cables, but you buy one. And the injector, which puts the power in the cable, and the splitter. Total cost was around $600 because the camera was literally $290, and it was an ASI ZWO 678 MC. Okay, a higher rating than the one that I might normally need, but a camera that the software has no problems with. And boy, oh boy, is it beautiful. And then after that, we got, let's see, I got a case for the Raspberry Pi with a fan and heat sinks, so that stays relatively cool. This is going to go in the desert, so the temperature has to stay below 190 degrees Fahrenheit inside the box. And it will routinely get up to 110 just from the power draw. So you have to be careful about that. Cosmic Ray put up the wireless instructable. I prefer Patriot Astro's video on YouTube. Patriot Astro shows you exactly step by step what to do to accomplish this, and for the most part he's right. There you go. And yeah, and Cosmic Ray also put up that link. Okay, so we got 18 shots. I'll save it. I wasn't going to because of the clouds, but it's always helpful to do it. Saved, and saved exactly as seen. Okay. I did a radio show before this, so that's why my voice is a little gone right now. But I wanted to tell you also that I ended up showing the All Sky Cam on the radio show as well, showing a time lapse, how that worked, showing the keogram, which is an at a glance shot of every hour through the night, showing a slice of the sky. So at a glance, you can see whether the whole sky was clear all night, if it was cloudy at any points. Really, really cool. And then the star trail image is I didn't show, but it does star trails as well. Really quite complete. I'm still learning a few things about it, but I'm getting there. Okay, so now let's see what we got. This is something I want to show you. Yeah, this is the guy. All right, this object will be our last object for tonight. But I want to show it to you. This is a really neat cluster of stars. There they are. And what's neat about this cluster of stars is that there is something in this cluster of stars that's really fascinating. And let's go take a look at that. So I'm going to drop this down just a little bit. All right, so that should work. Now this cluster, known as Measure 47, is a really interesting cluster because you see these stars in here, and then you see a star that has died and left the planetary nebula behind. But wait, clusters are young stars. What's with this cluster? What's with this cluster member supposedly showing that it's dead already? But don't all stars form at the same time in these clusters? Well, yes, they do. So they're all about the same age, aren't they? Why, yes, they are. So what are we looking at here? What we're looking at here is something that goes back to the fact that the universe is in 3D. And by saying that, by looking at the universe in 3D, we notice something strange, and that is that we see sometimes line of sight things which make objects look like they're in something that they're not. So this planetary nebula appears to be inside this cluster. But the fact is, this planetary nebula is not. This planetary nebula, as we see right here, right? This planetary nebula is about 2,000 light years away from us. And this cluster of stars is about 4,000 light years away from us. So this is a line of sight thing, you know. So it looks like it's lined up, and it's actually far, far away. It's an isolated star, far, far away from that cluster of young stars. Just happens to be along the line of sight to it. But you can imagine how this would perplex people, you know, in the 1800s, looking at something like this, saying, "What is that? Why is that? What is going on here?" You know. I see Science Bob is here. Science Bob, what's up? That's Bob McGuire. Nice to see you. Yeah, Fantasy, yeah, we're back. My whole computer froze up. So I literally rebooted and just started a new stream. And all the settings were the same, so everything should be running. I didn't see if someone checked... I didn't see if someone checked Rumble to see if I'm still running on Rumble. But I'd appreciate it if someone would do that, so I don't have to. So this is really cool. Now what I'll do, just to draw a little more subtlety out, I'm going to take this middle ground view here, this mid-level bar, and move it out. Oh yes, the equipment is all up and running well, Bob. Thank you. Fantasy, man. High winds. Boy, if we were subject to high winds a lot around here, can you imagine? We'd be like, okay, let's stream. I hope everybody's ready to have a good time. And then, of course, it goes black. Hey, Prowl. Prowl, you caught us on our last object. Okay, this is Measure 46. And it has a planetary nebula in it. But not really. This cluster is around 4,000 light years away, and this planetary is 2,000 light years away. It's just a line of sight thing. Yeah, I know, Michael. He says last object. Yeah, right. As if. I know. Everybody calls me, Mark, just one more object, Antonio. I know that's how it works. So, not that I'm looking for another object. I'm just, I'm just looking around. Don't mind me, I don't know if I'm going to do anything else, You never know. I'm thinking maybe I just want to go to bed. Why would I ever pick another object to go to? What the heck would I do that for? Ugh, I'm incorrigible. Okay. Well, this is good. We got 12 here with only one reject. That's nice. Due to the wind. So we'll save it. And save exactly as seen. And now I think we'll go to our last object. Yeah. You guys are alright. You know me by now. Alright. Beautiful cluster. Okay. Our last object is going to be this guy that we're going to get to in just a second. Where are you? That's what we want. This guy right here. And we're going to go there right now. And away we go. Now, first things first, I got to get us back to our single second quick movement. We'll look at an art project. And then do this. Okay. Doesn't look like much, does it? Well, we come in here. And let's zoom in. Okay, you see that star? And that star, and this star, and that star, and that star. Okay. Over here. And let me zoom back out. All right. Okay, let's do a 25-second shot here. That's 25,000 milliseconds. And we'll go now. You go now. You be here for an hour. Who remembers John Panette? Comedian. Oh, that guy was phenomenal. You bigger boy. You go. Very funny guy. Alright, let's get this working here. Come back. Alright, and then when you come back, we're going to delete that last one. Okay. No ray, cosmic ray. Lowers didn't get snubbed. The wind made it impossible. Yeah. This beautiful, beautiful nebula is the Seagull Nebula. It's a stellar nursery, a place where stars are being born. And it's also the site of beautiful knots of dark nebula, which will make themselves very apparent here soon. Okay, let's first of all do a color correction. And then let's bring this in as far as we dare to help give it a clarification. Look at that. Isn't that nice, Kevin Williams? Around the world in 80 buffets. That's funny. Yeah. Yeah. Remember he was saying, you know, you go to Subway and people are reading the menu. They don't know what they want on their sandwich. I knew what I wanted on my sandwich from like age 1. You know, what kind of bread do you want? What just make it, get out of the line. Get out of the line, you know. Very funny. So this is the upper part of the Seagull Nebula over here. Again, this is this beautiful stellar nursery in here, and there's a lot going on in here as well. And what you'll notice is you'll see this convoluted red. This is the singly ionized hydrogen region, like this is here. And then you'll see this kind of lighter region. And what is that? Well, see, this is a region of dust, and this dust is actually scattering the blue light from the stars, but because it's not very dense, it doesn't show up very brightly, but it shows up more than the hydrogen because it's a little more dense than the hydrogen gas. So that basically says that the different densities of these nebulae out in space will make a difference to how they appear. Here's a slightly denser area. You'll notice that the color is a little bit more pronounced. All right, a little more blue in here than it is up here. So again, it's all density driven. Yep. Absolutely. So we're gonna do our best to well, so far we have seven without incident, so that's nice. Maybe we can try Lower's Nebula. I know I said this was the last one, but hey, you know what? If it's working, it's working. Yeah, Daryl's under the weather, so he's not joining us tonight. There we go. That's pretty. Let's zoom in on the core of the Seagull Nebula. I think it should be called the Parrot Nebula, because this looks like a parrot. It doesn't look like a seagull. Here's a nice tuft right here. You can see that's really very pronounced. I wrote something into Photoshop so that we just measure the length of these features and we can tell how long they are in light years. You need to know the distance to the object, and then I have a calculation which manages the rest. So you measure this dark lane right here, all right? And if this was around 5,000 light years away, say, then this dark lane here will be around 7 light years long. Okay, keep in mind it's only 4 light years to the nearest star, and we actually could be buried within dust right now. because when you look at the Pleiades, you're welcome there, MPG. Thank you for coming. When you look at the Pleiades, there's blue dust that the Pleiades stars light strikes, and the dust scatters the blue component of that light. That's why you have a blue clouds around the Pleiades. Well, those blue clouds are important because the blue clouds around the Pleiades, 400 light years away from us, might actually extend through to us. We might have those in our region as well, which I think is pretty interesting. Ray, you already said that about Daryl. Why are you saying it again? Donald Kunzer says in 2001, during Bowman's final journey, there was what looked like a red giant seemed to turn into a head of a parrot. Yeah, that's right. At the end, then you have also Sprague Zarathustra. Again, they refrained from the very beginning of the movie, playing once again. I think you guys know I worked with Douglas Trumbull, the special effects guy. We were very good friends, and he unfortunately passed away from a insidious disease a couple of years ago. Well, he just got launched into space, and on the Celestis rocket, which is really kind of cool. So he has a permanent place in space as a memorial. It's really kind of nice. I thought his family, it was just amazing that they did that for him. And he was the special effects wizard behind 2001: A Space Odyssey, Close Encounters of the Third Kind. We worked on space movies and so forth up there at the studio. And it was just incredible to work with this man, Academy Award winner. He was so down to earth and so kind. Every time he saw you, you greeted with a hug. It wasn't, hey, how are you? Get in there and get to work. Never. Okay? If we had a schedule to keep, he'd give you a hug, say hi, come on, we got to do some things. We got to get to work. And then he would sometimes call just to brainstorm about ideas. And for a guy in his position, he never had to pay any attention to those of us who weren't that far along in the field, but he always listened to everything we had to say. And in fact, many times he would defer to my advice and to other people's advice. I remember one case, there was a movie being filmed and they were using the studio, and the art directors were a little arrogant, and he said to me, he goes, I was his chief scientist, that's what he called me. So I was sitting in a meeting with these guys, and they were describing the spacecraft that they were going to have. And they said, we want it to be realistic, and Donald Kunzer's right, Andromeda Strain and Silent Running. They want it to be realistic, so they designed the ships to be as real as possible. And the ship design that they came up with was impossible. It wasn't going to work. And I was very nice about it, and I said, excuse me, guys, are you really married to this ship design? Because you've got this ship, a cylindrical ship, then you got this long armature and another tiny thing on it, and that armature is spinning around the main body of the main ship. And in reality, they would both be tumbling around each other in space. This one would not sit still. There's no reason, nothing to hold it still while this armature is going around it. That's got inertia. And it's a moment of inertia is going to cause this other thing to start moving too, and they'll eventually just be moving like this in space together. And the art director looked at me and said, we've got this all figured out, thank you very much. And Tug, who was sitting there quiet the whole time, he held up his finger and he goes, if Mark says it's not going to work, it's not going to work, and I think you ought to listen to him. And the guy was like, okay, so what again? He wasn't even listening. So I explained the problem, and I made sure they understood it, and they did. And they modified the ship to have the appropriate counterweight so that this system could actually work. because Doug was very big on reality. Oh, we got a satellite that went through. Look at that. Okay, he was very big on reality. He wanted to see something that might actually be practical. He was asked to do Star Wars. George Lucas called him and asked him, "Would you like to do the Star Wars franchise with us?" And Doug said, "Yeah, no, George, I don't, because it's not reality. You got ships making rocket noises in space and everything. That's just not going to work for me. I'm more of a practical guy. I believe in the reality of space travel, and that's kind of where I live." And they said, "Okay, thanks, Doug. Just thought I'd offer." So obviously, you see what happens here. The work is not nearly as important as the practicality of the concepts for him. And that's what I took away from everything I ever learned from the guy. That's what I took away. All right, we got 23 shots taken here. Look at how beautiful this looks, guys. Let's back out and see it again from a distance. Okay. Now it goes below. It goes a little more to the upper left, and it goes well below the lower right here. It goes down off the page, about down to here. But that's the Seagull Nebula, and that's really pretty. Nice, nice, nice. Let's zoom in until we can't zoom anymore. Okay, and then it's gonna, there we go. Looks like an eye with a beak, doesn't it? Like a crooked beak. Like this is a pirate's seagull or something. What do you want? Yeah. So it's pretty cool. We can't get away from satellites. Another fun time was at the studio when I first met Douglas Trumbull. The very first time I met him, the day I met him, I made a huge mistake. We were making catapults to launch these Oreo cookies because we were doing a Burger King commercial. It was the first time of having a whole crew of people back. He had been absent from Hollywood for 30 years, and he was making a comeback because Natalie Wood died on his last movie, Brainstorm, and he got death threats because he was saying that she was killed and he had proof and all that. Well, really ugly. Well, anyway, he had everybody on the set, and we're all working, and he shook my hand. It was the first time I met this great in my life. I was nervous as heck, and I was working with his son on these catapults, and the catapults were to launch this Oreo cookie, and the idea was there were 3 of them that were going to launch these cookies right into the center of the camera frame, and all in slow motion. You'd watch the cookies collide and break apart. It was a bash scene, and it was a space theme. So I said to his son that I didn't like the springs because the springs didn't seem strong enough. And sure enough, they launched the cookies like 2 feet. They had to be launched like 10 feet. So I saw this roll of surgical tubing on the floor, and I said, "Hey, I think we can use the surgical tubing to make this, tie these up with surgical tubing so it's like an elastic band catapult. It could go fing." And his son said, "I don't know, that could be a little too powerful." And I said, No, it'll be fine. Mr. Know-It-All here, right? I want to impress Douglas Trumbull. So Doug comes in and says, "How's it going?" I said, "Well, I see this roll of surgical tubing. These springs don't propel these things far enough on the catapults, but that surgical tubing, I can rig these so these things will shoot really far." He goes, "Great idea. Sounds great. Let's do it." And he walks out. And I'm thinking, wow, Douglas Trumbull likes my job. Douglas Trumbull loves my idea and my advice. So I rig them up, and I this is really the part that's embarrassing. So I rig it up, and now we test it. We have these electronic triggers to set them all off. They go at different times, so these things meet in the middle. So we had one that we rigged up, and we let it go. And as soon as the surgical tubing, which is stretched now, kicked in and went BAM! And it went right to the stopping point really, really hard. And his son says, I don't know, that looks really way too powerful. And me, Mr. Smarty Pants here, said, no, I think it's perfect. Okay? And he goes, okay. So we put this piece of wood on there that's as heavy as a cookie, and we test it. And he says, you want to do the honors? I said, yes. So I push the button to activate the thing. The catapult goes off and shoots that freaking wooden puck right through the garage door out into the parking lot. Oh! Right through the garage door. Oh. And I heard Doug outside yelling a lot of really bad words about what the meep is going on in there. And he comes running in. Who the hell blew a hole in my garage door? And I went to raise my hand, and I looked left. There was a finger pointing at me. His son was already just pointing at me with a smirk on his face. I went, I think the surgical tubing was too strong. And he comes over, he looks at it, he goes, yeah, but you know what? That's going to work. You tone it down a little bit, and I think this is perfect. I said, sorry about the door. He goes, screw the door. And he walks out. I was like, wow. I thought I was fired. And not only was I not fired, we ended up becoming very good friends because he likes seeing people take chances and do innovation because it was a skunk works up there. So that was the day I met him. The very day I met him, I thought I would ruin the whole relationship with this guy. It was funny as heck. And we talked about that actually in the years after. How the first time he met me, I blew a hole in his garage door. Yeah, that was embarrassing. It still is embarrassing. Oh, okay, we got 30. That's good. Nice. You see, so sometimes I don't always talk about astronomy. Sometimes I have these other stories. So, pardon me on that. Yeah. Oh, Izabela, that's right. iPad Pro. We did the Super Bowl commercial. A Great Big Universe. We got Alabama Shakes to do the music. And then we did the Great Big Universe. Everything in that commercial, Great Big Universe, which is on YouTube, everything except the very end where they zoom out and show the iPad screen, everything is what's called a practical effect. We did everything in camera with special dyes, special models, special paints. And it was so cool. It was really, really interesting. So, and I'm glad you had the cookie video too, because I can't find it. I might have it here on my RAID. But you can put the links up if you feel like it, if you can find it. So yeah, so we did a lot of things. One of the things I did too was make a giant cookie, giant Oreo cookie. Literally, it was over 14 inches in diameter, and I hollowed it out. It looked exactly like a gigantic Oreo. Okay, same cake look to it and everything. And I hollowed it out and put piping into it and rigged it to run liquid nitrogen through it. Why, you might say? Because I then put it on a rig to spin it at 2,500 RPM. And then when you punch the nitrogen through it, you get 3 seconds before the whole armature freezes up. But during that time, the cookie, through all these little holes, is shooting liquid nitrogen, okay, which comes out as like smoke. And then a big fan in front of the cookies blowing it back. So it goes, and then it freezes. That's literally the time that it takes, okay? So what was the point? We shot it at 1,600 frames per second with a phantom camera, it's called. And what you get in that 1 second shot is about 30 seconds of slow motion cookie coming at the camera, rotating very slowly, trailing cometary smoke like a cookie comet. It was absolutely cool. Absolutely cool. Jane Murdoch, good night. So the special effects were just unparalleled, and to do them. For one sequence where it showed fruit getting cut up, we actually hired a gigantic extremely deadly water jet company to come in with these high-speed water jets that would slice all kinds of fruit in half, and we'd film it in slow motion. We just had a blast, like till 2 in the morning, dropping pickles and peaches and all kinds of stuff into this thing, and then reviewing the footage and at 1,600 frames per second, watching these things fall in and get like just vivisected by these water jets. It was the coolest thing. But the whole shot would just take, and it was done. That was it. And then you look at the footage and you see the magic happen. So that was kind of cool. Then we went to Niagara Falls to shoot a movie about Nikola Tesla. And that was a lot of fun, too. We were 300 feet underground in a dam, driving on golf carts. It was a quarter-mile long underground of hallways to go through the dam structure. That's how big it was. And we drove, filming in high-speed, high-frame-rate footage to get this really interesting look. And Doug, I offered up a shot idea that I had for, hey, Doug, why don't we try this? What do you think of this? He goes, oh, I like that shot. We're going to call it the Mark shot. The Mark shot is, and that's the kind of guy he was. He was always really willing to share that spotlight, which I at that level, you don't expect that. But he was really cool. Gosh, this is beautiful. This is coming out gorgeous. Okay, 35. I think we're good. All right, well, I hope that's a good one. Let's try that. And now, because Cosmic Ray will otherwise complain if I don't, let's try to go back to that Sharpless 261 if we can, and see if we can get it to work now. Okay. Yeah, that's the old seagull. It's the Steven Seagal movie. Okay. Let's do this. Let's go here and there. Okay, there we are. Okay, now what we'll do is zoom out of this for a little bit. Look at that wind. Man, that's the wind. Okay, 25%. All right, back here. And let's go. Ray, I don't know if this is going to work, but we're going to try it. Lowers us actually past the meridian now, but we'll give it a shot. That might make it less apt to be windy, because if you notice, the telescope's going to go to the opposite side of the building right now. It's still pointing up, and that's, I don't know. That's right in the middle of things. Let's find out. Let's see. I think it's right here anyway. Or is it here? I think it's actually there. Let me lower this. Let's see if I got it right. I may or may not have. We're going to go to... We'll just do a 20-second shot. Hardy Har Har Ray. Hires Nebula. The Hires Rupert Nebula. Hey. I just want to get the shot and see where it is. It looks like it's right here. And it is. Okay. So we're going to move that over to here. So we're just going to head to the west a little bit. Well, first of all, we'll go back to 20 seconds. Or 1 second. There we go. And this goes here. So hello, Judy M. It's been a rather eventful night, Judy. We actually had the computer hang. We had to restart the stream. And it worked. So we're going to see what happens. I don't know if it's still going in Rumble, and I don't know if anyone went and checked. All right. Oh, wow. Look at that wind. Yeah, this is going to be a tough one, Ray. Telescope sticking up like a flag. It's not even stabilizing. I just want round stars. That's all I want. See, right now, the way this looks, that's the equivalent of about 8.5 full width, half maximum, maybe 8.7. Actually, now it's about 9 or 10 right here. Not stabilizing, Ray. I'll give it a 25 seconds, but I don't think it's going to work. I think we're going to have to grab this at another time. Alright, we'll come out of this. We'll go into this. Our stack. There's the beautiful seagull. Yeah, it's a flag sticking up, so I can't imagine. Man, can't imagine it's gonna work, but we're gonna try it. See you later, Mr. Django. Nice to see you. Thanks for coming in. Even worse. Yeah, this is probably not gonna work, Ray, because it's sticking up straight up into the air, and I don't want to make everybody sit here for 20 minutes just to get one or two image shots. Let's see what this one does. Okay. All right, we're calling it on that. Yes, I'd love to do it, but look at the way it's moving around. It's just not. It is just not conducive to capturing it right now. Too much wind tonight. Too much wind. Well, folks, I'll tell you what. You know what? It's been great. We had a little snafu, but I was determined to get back. And we came back. So that said, I'm sure that we can meet again on the next clear night. Let me, yeah, I know. What am I talking about? I'm trying to find another object. I can't find another object yet. Jeez. All right, well, keep trying. Yeah, that's not going to work. Ah, boy. Okay. Yeah, the California storm's got to go. That's true. Yeah, there's the monkey head nebula. We're gonna have the same problem there. Jellyfish, same problem there. Well, okay. Well, guys, I'm afraid that we're gonna just deal with the wind our own way, and we'll just let it go at that. I don't want to let it go at that, but we have no choice. But we're okay. If you notice, it's hard for the telescope to even maintain a lock on things with the wind. So, but that's all right. We actually got a few good shots in tonight. Looking forward to seeing the Seagull Nebula. But I hope you guys have a good night. And I will, by request, let you see me put it to bed. So, first things first, we're going to park the telescope. And there we go. So you'll watch the telescope now take up its park position. All right. And then once it parks, it's probably already parked because we're getting a delay right now. As you can see. Well, that's moving fast, huh? But in fact, it's not moving fast. It's moving very slow. And now you see up here it says you can turn the scope off. So in my program I wrote, I turn the scope off, which also will shut off power to the camera as well. And so that's what's happening now. And so power is off, camera power is off. And so now I disconnect the scope like this. Telescope is disconnected. And then I will get out of this particular control app. I can get rid of this now and then get rid of our planetarium. And then I shut the roof. Okay. And I'll show you that, which is actually, it's really cool because it's like I said, it's across the country, so it's kind of fun doing this. All right, so here we go there. All right. All right, so telescope is parked. Now what we do is we shut the roof. All right, and off we go. It looks like there's a lot of clearance between the roof and here, but it's actually only about this much. Here we go. All right, so we're good. And then I will get rid of the control program in case of any errant input and leave the cameras as the very last thing you put away. All right. So there we go. All done. So thanks, guys, for coming. It was really nice to see you. And I'll see you in the next nighttime exploration of the universe. So if you like it, please leave a thumbs up. If you're not a subscriber, please subscribe. It's free, and you get these images for nothing. Okay? If you want to know where we are, just come here, skytourlive.org, right up there at the top. You can see it. Right? And, skytourlive.org right here. This is our portal to all things SkyTour. Join the SkyTour family. You can even join our Patreon if you like. We would love it if you did. We have a few members now, which have been very good to us. All right, and so I'd love to see you join all of us. So why not consider supporting us and become a Patreon member? We have a price point for every budget. You can actually join for $3 a month if you want. You can do $5, $25, $10, $50, $100, $200 a month. Believe it or not, we have people in every category. So that's really cool. So thank you, guys, and I'll see you on the next stream. And remember, keep looking up. Just don't do it while you drive. Okay? Good night, everybody.